Good evening, my name is Dova and welcome to Walking and Talking in Video Games. Tonight we'll be walking through Breath of the Wild while I gently talk you to sleep, discussing whatever my ADHD brain decides it wants to think about. I'm so glad you're here and I want you to know that you are safe here, and you are allowed to rest, to grieve, to be happy, and to take up space. Now, let's get to walking. I have a question for you. Do you believe in ghosts? Because I personally, this might make me some, uh, well, enemies is a strong word, but, this might turn some people away, but I do not believe in ghosts. I have met so many people in my life who do, but I personally just don't. I've never found like sufficient proof. Like, videos can be faked. Everything that's happened in my actual life that seems, that people point to and they're like, oh, it's gotta be a ghost or something supernatural going on. It can always be explained by something else. Like doors slamming, a draft. Weird groaning, moaning noises. The building we're in is old. And also a draft. It's always like something that can be explained. Or like, someone showed me a video once of a guy being like yanked off of a chair. That can be done by just like having pulling him off via like a tether that can't be seen from the angle that the camera's at. Like, it's so in like weird lighting in pictures. It's just the lighting, it's just the shadows or the flash of the camera or like a glare from the sun. And I don't know, it just, if you are looking for something, if you're looking for signs of something existing, you're gonna find that. Like, if you are willing to, it's like how I used to, like, if I'm really bad at making decisions, and I used to like ask for some kind of sign, like if this is meant to be, or if I'm meant to make this choice, give me a sign. But I never specified like what kind of sign, and so I would just like think anything could be a sign. Like, how am I supposed to know what the actual sign is if anything could be a sign? So, cause like, I would ask for a sign that, like, am I supposed to say yes to this job offer? And then, like, a couple minutes later, there would be an ad for a job, or like an ad for Indeed pop up on my phone or something. But, like, is that a sign, or is it just because I've been looking for jobs and your phone's always paying attention to the things that you're searching and saying and thinking about? Phones always know. It's creepy and disturbing and not really sure how it's legal, but whatever. So, like, if you're looking for, or just like something like the roll of paper towels would fall off the counter. And I'm like, is that a sign? Or did I just not put them back on the counter in a way that was secure? So it just feels like that. Like, whenever people are looking for reasons to believe that ghosts are real because they want to believe, yeah, they're gonna find them. Of course. That's just the way that life works. It's confirmation bias is what it is. So I've never found like actual definitive evidence that ghosts are real. And the thing that made me like think about this was recently I had some coworkers who they were at a job site, and they, like, one of the rooms in the building they were at, they swore was haunted. And, like, they took a video of, there was somebody singing in a locked room, and there was, like, a window in the room where you could see in, and you could see that there was nobody in there, but somebody was singing. And supposedly at the end, somebody whispers, like, I think it was like they whisper "get out," but I couldn't hear it whenever I was like watching the video. I couldn't hear it. But you know how that can be easily explained? At least the singing part in a locked room, it's just somebody left music playing, and the actual music part of it was just quieter. You can only hear the voice, because the voice is more, like, the voice is always the part of the song that stands out more, so it makes sense. Like, somebody left music playing. It happens. It's not evidence of ghosts, in my opinion, but I don't know. It's just that's just me. And then, like, other times, like I was saying, with the draft, like, I used to work at a camp, and one of the buildings, people kept saying that there was a ghost, but it was just instances of, like, doors closing when no one was there, and moaning, groaning noises. And again, draft, old building, all of it can be explained. And then another job site that some coworkers of mine were at, they were saying that it was like a haunted museum, and they were saying that, like, there was all this evidence that the ghost, like, really was haunting that place. And it was just stuff that, like tricks of light and things like that. Like, they they did not do a good job of like trying to convince me, because they were saying that the room was completely dark, but you could see light, like, here, but you could literally see that the sunlight was peeking around the windows. So not a very good, I don't know, it just, nobody has ever been able to successfully convince me. Not that, like, anybody needs to try to successfully convince me, but I've never seen anything that I can really, like, believe is actual evidence. So, I don't know. There's always, even if I don't, like, know, like, if I see a video and I'm like, oh, that actually is kind of weird, like, it always, like, comes out later. I learn something about it, or, like, scroll through the comments a bit, and they're like, they're doing it, like, this is how they're pulling this off. And then it makes sense. And I don't, and like, yeah, sometimes people will just, like, try to be negative on purpose and, like, debunk things that maybe are true, but I mean, generally the things, like, the things that they say make sense. But a lot of times I'll see something that's obviously fake, and then all the comments are believing it. But, and now with AI videos being so good, you can make a really convincing ghost video, and it won't be explainable unless people know that it's AI. So that's kind of scary. That's scarier than ghosts. But, well, that's the world we're living in now. But moving on, so I mentioned in my last video that I started a snack store at work, because I work in an office and I work at the very front of the office, so I'm in, like, perfect position to be able to pull that off. And also, the audio got a bit messed up in my last video, so when I was explaining where I got the idea for the snack store, unfortunately, that didn't actually get properly recorded, so I had to cut it out. So it was weird, because I think my last video was an arc, and I think that I got to a place on the map where my PC was just trying too hard to render everything, and so it, like, stopped all other processes, so my recording got corrupted. But I mean, so, well, the point is, let me now explain where I got that idea. There's a girl at our sister office who sells snacks, but she has a crazy setup. She's got 2 full-size fridges, and like a whole snack stand. So she's able to do, oh, and a freezer. So she sells like ice cream, frozen burritos, drinks, all sorts of snacks. I would love to have a setup like that. Unfortunately, it's very expensive, and I don't know how. I mean, she's probably been doing it for a while and saved up with her profits. So far, I have made a profit of about $50, which, I mean, that's pure profit. Because I had made like $200 in sales, and then I took out my expenses, like how much it cost me to buy the snacks in the first place, how much it cost me to buy the little stand. Thankfully, the locking filing cabinet that I used to store them to keep them safe, I got for free. And because it was just one that my office didn't need anymore. But yeah, after taking out all of those expenses, I have made a profit, pure profit of about $50. So that's kind of cool, you know. That's like 5 trips to McDonald's. Heck yeah. But I will have to reinvest that money now because I am low on a lot of snacks. But a couple of things that I've learned, let me share with you in case you're curious, in case you want to start your own snack store. Let me share my learnings. First of all, one thing that I guess I should have seen coming but didn't expect it to be this significant is people love sweets. Those have been so much more popular than chips. I mean, like, I know a lot of people have sweet tooths, but I didn't realize it was this significant. But that's like the things that sell the best are Twinkies, Ding Dongs, those little Hostess cupcakes. Someone requested that I buy coffee cakes, and those, yeah, those have been, that was a good request. People have been loving those. I bought some apple pies, like little individually wrapped tiny apple pies, and people are loving those. Oatmeal cookies. People love sweets. Things that I expected to sell better than they did are, I got those little tasty cakes. No, not tasty cake. What's the brand? It's Little Bites. That's the brand. Those little bites muffins, like 4 tiny muffins in a bag. I used to really like those. I thought people would like those. I only have one person who buys those, so I'm not restocking. We were actually talking about it today, and she said she would just go get her own box. But she hadn't bought any until today, but then she bought my last 2 bags and asked me if I had more. So, another thing that I thought would be more popular is I got ramen, like cup ramen, because we have water dispensers at work, so it's easier for people to get hot water. And when they're out on jobs, they don't really get a chance to eat most of the time. So, got some cup ramen, which is something that the girl at our sister office also sells. Like, and she sells frozen burritos and things like that, like Hot Pockets. So, meals. I have now nearly sold out of the cup ramen, but it didn't go as quickly as I expected. Like, it's just every once in a while that someone wants some ramen. So, yeah, that hasn't sold as well. So, and I touched on this a little bit, but another thing that I've learned is that sometimes somebody will suggest something, or multiple people will suggest something, and it won't end up actually being that popular. Even the people who suggested it, or the people who said, hey, that's a good idea, like people would said that about the cup ramen, then it won't actually sell that well. Like, somebody suggested honey buns. Turns out he was the only one who wanted honey buns, and he doesn't even buy them that often. So, but I mean, I like honey buns, so I'm kind of finishing them off, and I just won't buy more. But something that someone suggested that actually ended up being a really good idea was the oatmeal cookies. Like, I wouldn't have thought that people would like those. I honestly thought that they were like more of a niche snack, but no, turns out they're a pretty popular item. Like, I went to Sam's and bought a big thing of them. Basically, it was like 4 full boxes of them, and I'm already on the last box and nearly like halfway through. So that's been interesting. Also, Nutty Buddies are pretty popular. Somebody suggested those, and that was a good purchase. But again, just because someone suggests something does not automatically mean that it's going to be a great idea. But yeah, that's definitely been an interesting journey for me. I'm learning a lot, not making crazy profit, but it's it's fun. Plus it's nice to be able to like give people an option for if they're hungry. But indulge me for a second. Let me talk about Marvel Rivals because I have been obsessed over the past few months with Marvel Rivals, and because I instead of playing it right now, I am here recording this. Let me because I'm doing what I need to be doing. I need to be recording, not playing. However, I really have the bug, the Marvel Rivals itch. So let me just talk about it, scratch that itch for a second. But my rank up journey has been fun but frustrating. I I play support, and while yes, you can definitely climb playing support, it is a bit of a PITA. Side note though, I have somehow already put 96 hours into the game. I don't know how the heck I have almost 100 hours already. I've been playing it for a couple of months, but like I'm only able to do maximum like a couple hours a day, and even then, whenever I played it a lot over the past 3 weeks that I took off from recording or making videos. Well, mostly. Even then, I was still working on them a bit, just not posting anything. But even with my break, somehow I have still, or no, sorry, with the break, I guess I put in a ton of those hours, but like outside of that, I did not play very much except like a little bit on the weekends. But somehow I've already put 96 hours into Marvel Rivals. And I think that is absolutely insane. And most of those hours have just been on one character because I really love playing that character, and I'm trying to learn new characters, but I don't have much time to learn new characters, and every time I play like with the friend that I play with, we play ranked, so I need to play characters that I know I can perform well on. But when I do get the chance, I love trying to learn new characters because I want to be flexible. However, some of the characters that I enjoy playing are not very good for ranked because they don't have as much potential or as much like utility as other characters, so I'm kind of limited if I don't want to get flamed by my teammates. But my rank journey has been a bit frustrating. When I play with my duo partner that I usually play with for ranked, things tend to go pretty well. Like, yeah, we lose every once in a while. I mean, last time we played, we were losing, I'd say we were winning like 60% of our games, losing like 40%. But it was still fun. And of course, if you're winning more than you're losing, then you're gonna rank up eventually. But like, even with how much we lost compared, like, relatively, it was still fun. But man, trying to play by myself, because I play support, it is really hard to be the difference maker in a game. And yeah, it's possible, but it really only happens if you play aggressively. Like, if you're so here's the thing about support. Your job as a support is to sustain your team and enable your teammates. And if so, like, you multiply whatever your teammates are capable of by keeping them alive and giving them like openings to make great plays using your other abilities. However, if your teammate's ability to play like if your teammate, if their skill level is 0 and you multiply that 0 times 0 or 0 times whatever is still 0. So if I make like huge openings for them or keep them alive through some crazy stuff, but they don't do anything, then we're gonna lose. So, but I still love playing support, and I suck on DPS. I need to learn it, but it's even kind of pointless to try to learn DPS because everyone wants to play DPS, especially, and I've finally reached Diamond, which I'm like super proud of, but in Diamond, there's always like 4 people on the team who want to play DPS. Like, what the heck are we doing, guys? So learning DPS feels kind of pointless because more often than not, well, 90% of the time, I would just end up playing support anyway because that's what our team needs. Or a tank, but I hate tanking, but I need to learn some kind of tank. But anyway, so solo queuing, playing by myself without my duo, really sucks because I feel like not even that I feel like I lose more, I do lose more. And it's frustrating because I just want to get better. You know, I want to be able to rank up by myself and like prove my skill, but the problem is it's a team game. And it's a lot easier to rank up from like lower ranks by yourself because no one is coordinating with anyone, and so like it's just kind of like a free-for-all death match. So you can just go and like pick people off. Nobody's playing grouped up together, or if they are, then you can easily get an ultimate on them that wipes them out. But once you get up to the higher ranks, people are actually like starting to play together, more people are in voice chat. But the frustrating thing about being a support is in voice chat, everyone yells at you. Even if you're doing a perfectly fine job, they yell at you because they just find a reason if you don't heal them instantly. And it's very mentally taxing to be a support because a part of it is knowing who to heal when. Like, if you can only heal one person, 2 people are about to die, who's more important? And you have to track enemy ultimates so you know, like, when to use yours, or, you know, like, should I ult now to save my team, or should I wait because this character is about to have an ult, and then, like, that'll be devastating for my team if they pull that off. So, or does Magneto have his ultimate because his ultimate can kill me, and then my ultimate ends when I die, so can I ult now, or do I need to wait and hope that he uses his at some point, or is there somewhere I can dash under cover, like at the end of as soon as I lay my ultimate down so that I can be safe? Yeah, there's a lot you have to think about. And then again, thinking about who do I keep alive, and do I have flying characters on my team? I need to like keep an eye on the sky and make sure they're not dying, and is someone around the corner and I need to run around and see if I can try to heal them because they're being attacked and they're about to die. It's a lot. It's a lot to think about. Very mentally taxing. And they say support's easy because it's easy to pick up, but if you want to actually get good and improve and climb, you have to really put in some effort, and you have to put in a lot of brain power, and it really sucks when you put in all that effort. You play an amazing game, but again, because it's a team game, you can still lose anyway because everyone has to be at the top of their game to be able to turn a fight, especially if the enemy team is also at the top of their game. So it's pretty frustrating trying to climb the ranks, as I don't want to keep blaming the fact that I'm a support, but it is. But the other thing is comms, like voice chat, communication. A good 80% of the time, if people are using comms, is to be toxic. So you're supposed to be, like, you know, everyone says you're supposed to be in voice chat to coordinate with your team, and that is absolutely true. But nobody uses voice chat to coordinate, at least not like up to the ranks that I've been through so far. People just use voice chat to tell their teammates how stupid they're being. And you know what? Because I play a character that has a bad rap for people, because I play a character that's pretty easy to get, okay, sorry. I play the character that people flex to if they need a support. So there's a lot of people who don't do a very good job. They're not support mains. They just use my character because she's quote unquote easy. And she has like aim lock on, so you don't have to aim with her. And that's like what makes her easy. And I love that. Because it means I can turn my sensitivity up super high and just flick around and like turn around, make sure no one's coming in from behind, and flick back and turn around, flick back. So I love her, and I can easily like look up to the sky, heal someone, heal the Spider-Man that's flying by, and then look back at my team. I love that. It makes things so much easier, especially since I can't aim. I'll be honest, I can't aim. I need to get better at aiming, but as of right now, I can't aim. I also play on console, so aiming is a pain in the ass as it is. But yes, because I play the character that has such a bad reputation, I get flamed a lot because people see me make a mistake. Or what happened in a game recently was I kept getting killed right out of spawn because nobody was taking care of the characters that were diving our backline and like spawn trapping me. And so I couldn't get to our team, and I couldn't heal them, and I had to use my healing abilities on myself to stay alive. And so somebody was yelling at me, who's like, put your healing bubble on the point. And I was like, I mean, I didn't say this in voice chat because in voice chat freaks me out, but I couldn't. I had to use my healing bubbles on myself because I couldn't stay alive otherwise. It was so frustrating. And it's happened to me multiple times where people yell at me for stuff that isn't my fault, or like something that was one simple mistake. So it's really frustrating. And just supports in general get yelled at because people expect immediate healing. And when they don't get that, or like because either you're healing someone else, prioritizing someone who is more important or lower health. I mean, think about it. If your team composition is even, like 2 tanks, 2 DPS, 2 supports, there's only 2 supports to heal the 4 other people, and the supports have to heal themselves as well, like heal each other and heal themselves. So 2 people healing 6 people. Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, come on. People are not gracious, and they expect instant, they want it and they want it now, and it's so frustrating playing with these people who don't understand what it's like to be a support, and they don't care. And you know what? I get it to an extent, because whenever I'm playing support and like my other support is healing, sometimes I'll be like low on health and I'm like waiting for my other support to heal. Like if I'm not in immediate danger, then I'll like try to save my healing abilities, so I'll like wait for my other support to heal me. But then I realize, and I'm like, come on, they're not even paying attention to me. But then I realize they're trying to heal someone else, or like they're, you know, there's explanations for these things, and I just wish people would understand that. So, moral of the story, be nice to your supports. They're doing their best. And if they're in the rank that you're in, you're equal. And you might be like smurfing and you are actually Grandmaster and you're playing in silver on your alternate account, but if so, then just understand that they're a silver player and they are acting that way for a reason. But it is so frustrating playing with toxic people, and it's why I hate being in voice chat. And so if I'm just playing quick play, I turn voice chat off because it's not worth my sanity. And I take things way too personally. Whenever someone's flaming me in the game, it was some butthole told me to uninstall the game after he was yelling at me for things that weren't my fault in a ranked game. But I take stuff like that way too personally. I just laughed at the uninstall thing, but like whenever he was yelling at me about things that he felt I could have been doing better, I just like sat there that night afterward like replaying it in my head and thinking like, was he right? No, obviously he wasn't right. I was getting killed over and over again. Like, I couldn't save you because I couldn't even keep myself alive because you weren't killing the enemies that were killing me. So, and I just play that stuff over and over again in my brain and like mentally chastise them for being dumb. And I don't know why I take that so personally. Because it's a game that I play with my friends, I want to be good. So whenever people are accusing me of like being dumb, I don't know, I take it to heart way too much because I want to be the best I can be to like be a good teammate to my friends. But that's just something that I need to figure out. And obviously there's, things like if you are getting tilted at the game, getting angry, then you take a step back, play something else, or play a different game mode even, and try to mute voice chat, turn off text chat, just breathe for a while, go sit outside, something. But I don't know, even after doing those things, sometimes things just still stick with me for a while. So I gotta figure that one out. I think it's because, I think it's related to the fact that I have OCD, so the obsessive part of OCD, the O in OCD, really gets to me, where things just play in my mind and like the thoughts are intrusive and I can't get rid of them. So that's probably part of my problem. But also I don't know, I need to learn how to not take things so personal. Like, because even in moments like that, like, I know that they're wrong. Or if they're right, then I know, like, it's because I knew, like, I realized, yeah, I did make a mistake. But, like, there's no reason for you to be, such an asshole about it. But for some reason, it's the afterward when it's just like playing in my mind, or in the moment whenever I'm frustrated that they're being so mean. But even after all the time, all the 700 hours that I've put into Overwatch, somehow that stuff still gets to me now that I've moved on to a new game. But actually, speaking of Marvel Rivals, something that I realized is a lot of people there's like two types of people who play the game. There's people who play the game because they love hero shooters, and then there's the people who play the game because they love Marvel. And so, and that might be why whenever I do go to quick play, it's just, it feels like we totally stomp them, because that's where all the people who just love Marvel play, I guess. But I don't know, it's interesting because my friends like don't really like Overwatch, but they like Marvel Rivals, and I asked them like, well, why do you like Marvel Rivals so much but not Overwatch? And they said, go, cause it's Marvel. We love the Marvel IP, the characters and everything. And that was interesting to me because I play it because, well, I play it because they play it because I like having a game to play with my friends, but I enjoy it and continue to play it because it's a hero shooter and I like hero shooters. Or, well, I like hero shooters that are like Overwatch. And this is very much like Overwatch. So, well, I've only played those two. Like, I haven't touched Valorant. It doesn't appeal that much to me. I haven't. Eventually, I'll try it, I guess. But at the moment, it does not appeal to me much. I like hero shooters where you can, if you make a mistake and die, like you can come back and try to do better. I don't like the perma death in Valorant, but that's just a personal preference. But anyway, I play Marvel Rivals because I like hero shooters, and they play Marvel Rivals because they like Marvel. So I think that's interesting. But another thing that I like about Marvel Rivals is they listen to their community. It's something that most games do not do very well. And so as long as they do that, I will be happy to continue to support them with my time and occasionally my money when there's a really pretty skin. Like my main is Cloak and Dagger, and they just came out with a Phoenix skin and it's so pretty. And I bought it. But so that's my view on Marvel Rivals and my current experience in the ranked department. But yeah, I need to learn more characters. I need to pick up some tank. Probably I just don't like tanking. I don't know. 'Cause it seems, I mean, a tank's job is to tank damage, to soak up as much damage as possible, but like while they can get kills, they don't really secure kills as well as DPSs do. So like just running in there to take damage is not very fun to me. And yeah, like part of it's disrupting them too, distracting them, whatever. But I don't know. I find it a lot more boring than like DPS or support. But I need to learn at least a couple of every role. I'd like to get good on maybe not every support, but at least like most of them. I really wish they would come out with more, but it's probably going to be like a year before they really start beefing up the number of supports and tanks because they already have everything planned out through the next year. So that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. There's already tons of DPSs in the game, and there's only gonna be more pretty soon. But that's okay. We still love them. But on a completely unrelated topic, I was thinking recently about if I was on death row and I had to pick a last meal, what would I pick? Honestly, I have no clue. Like, I don't have really a favorite food. I've got like my favorite fast food restaurant is McDonald's, and my favorite, I guess my favorite like sit down restaurant is Buffalo Wild Wings. Well, it's not my favorite. Well, it's like one of my favorites, but I don't know if I could say it's like my top favorite. But specifically a meal, I don't know what would be what would be incredible enough that you'd pick it as the one final, like if they could get you anything, the one last meal you could get? I don't know. If any of you have an answer to this, please let me know, because I have no idea what I would pick. Like I said, I don't have a favorite food or like I don't know, I guess if I was in prison for that long, I would probably have something that I've just been craving for like a really long time. But if it was like an immediate thing where I went like straight from living in the outside world to like being on death row, and so like it's not like I hadn't had anything in a long time, or well, nothing like if I was just really craving a McDonald's hamburger, you know. But like if it like was happening right now, I can't think of anything that would be a significant enough food that I would have been missing for long enough, or like couldn't get my hands on otherwise. I don't know. Or like a really big meal that I wouldn't like get for myself. I don't know. I guess maybe a better question is like if a genie showed up and they said, the only wish that I'll grant you is you can have any food you want right now. Like any meal, any one meal. What would you say? Would you say like, I miss the pot roast that my grandma used to make, or actually my mom used to make a really good pot roast. So if I could tell that genie, like, you know, if the genie could pull out something like that, like the roast that she used to make, I probably would say something like that. But if I was limited by what the prison guards could get me, then I don't know what I would say. But yeah, if a genie showed up and they offered you any one meal you wanted, what would you ask for? I know things like a plate full of money do not count, so don't say something like that. I want to know what meal you want, what food. But yeah, that was just something that I... And you know what? Whenever I was talking to somebody about this, they said that... I think they said like they would want wings. When we started talking about wings, and they were saying that the wings at Hooters were really good. And it reminded me of the fact that the one and only time I've ever been to Hooters was when I was a child for the birthday party of a 1-year-old. Why his parents thought that was a good idea, I have absolutely no clue. But yeah, of all the places for a 1-year-old child to have his birthday party, that it was Hooters. So if you're ever looking for a venue for your next 1-year-old's birthday party, Hooters, apparently. Maybe even Twin Peaks if you're adventurous. Which is kind of crazy to me. I've never been back, at least as far as I can remember. And again, I was a child when this happened. Like, I was under 10. I don't remember how old specifically, but not old enough to be going to Hooters. And that 1-year-old was definitely not old enough to be going to Hooters. Interesting times we lived in. Interesting times. I've never been to Twin Peaks. And as far as like other... I don't think I've ever been to any other restaurants that are of a similar theme. I don't know. I don't know if their food is good. Maybe one day I'll have to go just for the heck of it. But yeah, I don't think I have a favorite restaurant really. For a while I was saying that it was Buffalo Wild Wings, but I don't know. Like I guess it's like a comfort food, and occasionally I crave it. But oh, actually, you know what? I really like Vietnamese restaurants. I really like Vietnamese spring rolls. That's another top food for me. Buffalo Wild Wings, Buffalo Mild Wings. Wait, the Buffalo Mild Wings at Buffalo Wild Wings, plus the potato wedges, and their ranch is really good. So that as a meal, one of my top meals. But also the chicken and dumplings that my ex's dad used to make, very good as well. And Vietnamese spring rolls, and the roast that my mom used to make. I quite like Stouffer's lasagna, but I think I've gotten a bit tired of it. But as far as lasagna goes, that is the best lasagna I've ever, like, this is the best lasagna in the world, is Stouffer's lasagna. I will forever stand by that. Unless unless someone makes an incredible lasagna, but I'm not a big fan of ground beef. Well, I'm really not a fan of ground beef at all. Like, I don't like, I don't like burgers, or meatloaf, or, like, spaghetti and meatballs. Wait, I'm not a very good American. I don't like hamburgers, or mac and cheese, or Reese's. Forgive me. But yeah, just a regular old Stouffer's lasagna, not the meat lovers kind. Ugh, not the meat lovers kind. Just a regular old Stouffer's lasagna is solid. That is good food right there. But otherwise, I can't really think of anything that I would consider like one of my favorite foods. I mean, I just listed off several, so I think that's a pretty solid answer. But as far as, several of those things that I listed wouldn't be things that they could actually get, like things that specific people make. But the genie could do it. The genie could get me whatever I want. Yeah. So what would your meal wish to the genie be? Please let me know. I would love to know. I think if instead of like a last meal, if instead they gave you just a perfect day, like you could do kind of like make a wish, like if you were on death row and you could have, or I mean, I guess that's like kind of a crazy thing to say because obviously the people, if you're on death row, you didn't, you did something not very good, but if you could just like, okay, let's bring the genie back. If you could ask the genie for anything, any sort of, like, you could have 24 hours to do absolutely whatever you wanted, what would you do? So I would probably, I don't know, because 24 hours is really not a lot of time if you, like, have the whole world available to you. Because I would want to probably, like, go to Disney and Universal, ride a bunch of rides, but also I would want to visit Japan, but also I would want to go to the beach, like, go stay in one of those, like, over the water bungalows, and there's so many things, but like, but I freaking love Disney. You know what, maybe just like the best way to spend it would be to go to Disney, because then you could go to like Epcot, and then it's like you're traveling around the world, but then you can also go do really cool, like, do the fun, oh my gosh, I'm thinking faster than I can actually put it into words, but I love the feeling of, for example, like being at Universal and then you step into the Harry Potter area and then it's like you're transported into the world of a universe that you love, that you've only read about or seen in movies. And that's such a magical feeling, and I love that feeling. So maybe, like, if I could do whatever I wanted for a day, maybe it would be something more like going to Disney or Universal or something. And go, like, if it's my perfect day and I can design it however I want, I would want there to be no one else there, or at least no lines on the rides. And then you could ride so many things. Oh my gosh. I'd love to go back to Disney. But man, it's expensive. It's crazy expensive. I don't know how people do it. But anyway, it's that time of night where we've been talking for a while and My throat needs a bit of a break. I hope that you've enjoyed this yap session, and I hope that you have a great night. Hopefully you're already asleep, or at least I kept you company for a while. Until next time, you have a wonderful night, sweet dreams, good night.